How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. I came in last night. I was DJing as Daphne and then with Jamie XX. My flight landed 20 minutes before I was supposed to be on, so I raced through the airport and drove all the way here and went on the minute. But yeah, it was good. It was an exciting way to arrive.
So you played as Daphne last night, and you're doing this interview now, and you're playing at 3 a.m.
Yeah.
You must end up really tired with this sort of schedule, I mean.
Yeah, it has been exhausting because we had a sound check at 9 in the morning as well. So, but I'm enjoying it right now. I've been, the last couple of years, I've been at home making music, keeping very sensible hours, living the life of a kind of old family man. So this is good. I really enjoy it. I thrive on being out here doing lots of stuff, meeting lots of people.
So you basically stock up the energy during the year, and then you pretty much don't sleep for a few months.
I think so, yeah.
I love the fact that you play with live band. I love electronic outfits who have actually a whole band, like Mass on Mars, for instance.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It works on such a deeper level, I guess. Don't you agree?
I mean, I grew up with both. I grew up learning instruments first, and there's something about the just kind of visceral nature of it, of playing instruments and interacting with other people, that it's very, very hard to create that as a solo electronic performer. I wouldn't have it any other way. There wouldn't be any point really in performing if we couldn't do what we do.
Our Love isn't out yet, and the only thing I know is Can't Do Without You.
Yeah.
And it seems kind of more soulful, I guess. Mm-hmm. Is that the way the album is going to go?
It's a pretty diverse album, but yeah, I think so. There's it's more romantic, for lack of a better word. It's more soulful, more personal to me. But yeah, it's hard for me to say because I'm so close to it. Uh-huh. But it's funny the fact that lots of people have just heard Can't Do Without You. For me, that's the intro to the album. It's the first single, but it's also just the intro to the album. Mm-hmm. There's so much more. I can't wait for people to hear. I'm really excited for people to hear. The years since Swim came out have been so incredible for me because of people's reaction, because of the way people connected with Swim. And so I really made this album with the intention that it's for the listeners, for everybody. It's kind of, let me make this thing and make it as special as I can to give to the listeners. So it's so important to me that people like it. I hope everybody likes it.
That's so cool that you're not a Luddite, as against go away.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up in the 90s when all the kind of bands like Sonic Youth or something were very kind of oppositional in their stance. They were just you can't be popular and interesting. But a lot of the music that I love the most is both of those things. It kind of doesn't lose anything by being more generous or more about the listener as well. So hopefully that's what I was trying to do.
I'm a Pavement kid. So there you go. But I actually met Thurston a year ago. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. He's super nice.
I'm sure. Yeah. The other thing that really struck me about how Swim was received is that I thought it was one kind of thing. I thought it was a pretty weird record. I thought it was very much my own world. I didn't think about how it related to everybody else in the rest of the world, and it took on a whole different life than I expected. People playing it at parties in Ibiza, which is not a world that I was really a part of, or people connecting with it in all different parts of the world in different ways. And the one thing that I really embraced about my music and I'm looking forward to is the way that it's not really mine anymore after it's released. It becomes everybody's, and people can, they take it in whatever context they want. They take it however they want, but also people remix it in unofficial remixes. They just kind of take the music and literally cut it up and do whatever they want with it. I'm kind of that's almost the most exciting part of it, is that it has a life of its own. It's not. I used to very much think when an album was done, I close the lid and nobody can touch it. You can look at it like in a museum, but it's not. It's mine, you know, because I wasn't so confident, I think, about what I've done and how it interacts with people in the world. And now I'm much more like, okay, this is what I've done, and then let's see what happens to it after that.
Yeah, like, so this is my thing, and this is ours to enjoy.
Yeah, exactly. And particularly the live thing is also an example of that. The way the tracks are on the records is the starting point for where the live show goes, and often they change quite a lot over the months and years that we play them.
It's been well documented that you have a degree in maths. How has it informed your work, you think?
I don't know if it does. I mean, definitely that's a part of my personality that's always going to be there. But I don't do mathematics at all anymore. I just do music all the time. The thing that's important to me about making music is the kind of emotional, intuitive thing. I'm not autechre. I'm not using complicated software or formulas to make the music. So
Ever?
never, ever. That's totally misses the point for me. The people who do that, that's great. That's if that's their thing. But music for me is about making you feel something, making you get a lump in your throat, or those kind of feelings. Yeah.
Even though maths is in everything, right? Especially in music, I mean.
That's the thing. It is in everything, and it definitely is in me. It's a big part of my personality, but and not in the way that people imagine. Mathematicians are much weirder than people imagine. They're not like accountants or somebody very dry and orderly. They're pretty weird. Yeah.
To me, they're much more like philosophers. For instance.
I think that's
Maths and philosophy are very similar subjects, I think.
Sure. Yeah. Exactly.
And most people think that philosophy, for instance, is poetry. Philosophy is maths of the brain, of thought process. I mean.
Yeah, they're both very abstract things. They're both very kind of elegant things where you're just dealing with abstract ideas rather than, you know, concrete kind of bookkeeping. You get to think more about the big picture, and which is a nice thing to be able to do.
I'm asking about maths because do you think there is beauty in odd numbers, for instance? Because like some stuff on Swim had like some counter beats and stuff like that. Do you think that's where the beauty lies, in like the filling of the space?
I mean, I think I never think about any of that stuff. You know, I play all those things. I don't program them and look at where the numerical things lie. For me, it's that might be in there at some level, but there's so much complexity and texture beyond that that's the important thing to me. If you reduce it too much to kind of numerical things, I think you miss the kind of magic of why music connects with us.
Sometimes you use some melodic percussion, for instance on bowls, which I love. Do you think that's somewhat progressive, would you call it?
I don't know. I mean, I'd like to think that is important to me, making music that at least is not regressive, is not looking backwards too much, which that's something I felt I did too much in the past when I made albums that sounded more like 60s psychedelic pop or that kind of thing. That became something that frustrated me, was that I wanted to make music that was forward-looking a little bit, or at least kind of contemporary. And that was definitely with the new album, with Our Love. That's something that was important to me, that it sounds, even if it dates worse, if it seems, you know, tied to this particular time, that's fine. All the music that I love, none of those people were making music looking backwards. They were all making music looking forwards.